And the interesting thing is that I did the first session, which was Inspiring Pakistan Lunch, and I am doing the final session, which is Digital Pakistan Lunch. So I'm actually quite excited about it. The reason is that, as you all know, the theme of the World Economic Forum this year is collaboration for the intelligent age. And we all know that there is now no convincing needed on the point that if you do not ride the technology tide, you may get behind or you may be left behind. For countries like Pakistan, it is even more of a challenge. It's a developing country, various constraints and compulsions. We've talked about them extensively in the 3 or 4 days sessions that we had, and some very candid, open conversations took place. The challenges were quite clearly identified, but I'm glad we are sort of ending uh, the activities of the Pakistan Pavilion on Digital Pakistan Lunch. And why do I say that? I say that because Pakistan, despite its problems, has somehow is actually riding what I call the technology tide. And why do I say that? I say that because the internet penetration stands at 45.7%. But more interestingly, cellular mobile connects are almost 80%. And we just want to sort of bridge this gap to use the cellular mobile connections for excess or for the lack of infrastructure that countries like Pakistan suffer for. We have fantastic examples from Africa where it is being done. And at the same time, in the conversations that we have, I'd like to address the digital divide. And my personal face to face with digital divide happened when COVID hit us and we shut down the classrooms. I was associated at one of the best institutions of Pakistan at that time. I was teaching there. We were an institution that went online in 48 hours. We did that. But then we also realized that although we catered to a comparatively privileged class, the digital divide existed. And we had to devise ways to make it accessible to our 3,000 students. But 3,000 students is not Pakistan. Pakistan is much bigger than that. And today, as I speak to you, the man who sits next to me is someone who's actually bridged that gap, has done miracles with something which is called Asan Pakistan. The figures were just running. If you see on the side, those figures are still running on the board. Those are amazing figures. Yeah. And it became possible. Oh, we are happy to have Senator Aurangzeb Saab here, and he'll join us. Please, please. No, no, please come.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello.
Thank you so much, Senator Aurangzeb Saab, for joining us for this very, very important, pertinent session. We're very excited about it, and more so now that you're here. But I'm going to first request Mohammad Salman Ali, who's the CEO of VRG and works largely on financial inclusion. Let's find out what this man has done and what does it mean in terms of numbers, and what does it mean when we talk about financial inclusivity, when we talk about women empowerment, when we talk about upward social mobility, when we talk about empowering people on the ground, because this is an initiative which has grown big. And of course, there was resistance, but at the end of the day, I understand now that State Bank is rock solid behind us, and the government, if it doesn't support it, it at least acknowledges it. So, Salman, over to you.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
No.
I will switch mine off and you switch yours on.
Am I audible now? Oh, great. Thank you. So, Pakistan, a progressing country right now, and especially from the last 3 to 4 years, if you can focus on the progress and especially on the financial inclusion side, digital financial side, and the growth in the digital sector in Pakistan is amazing. You can see the numbers. The numbers of digital payments is getting higher, like from 40% to 82%. So why it is happening? Because there is something, some infrastructure which is already been there, or maybe some scheme or some sort of facility for the people of Pakistan who are actually right now, in fact, you can say from the last 4 years. Before that, they are not being properly included. And why is that? Just because of one fact, because they have not been giving the right technological solution. In Pakistan, still, we have a 194.6 million subscribers, but out of which 48% are only the smartphone users. The rest of them are still feature phone users. So what about those people who are financially not included because of the services they are not having? They are not having bank branches over there. So then you need to create a solution for this. So the right solution for the right people. So Asan mobile account scheme, which is being created, developed by Pakistanis within Pakistan. And it's a scheme which actually works on a many-to-many model. Like any SIM of any telecom operator can open a bank account in any of the bank by dialing a simple short code, no app, no internet, just a simple short code. Just dial it on your cell phone. You can still dial it. The numbers who are on roaming in Pakistan, from Pakistan, static 262 hash. You get the menu, select the bank, put your CNIC, and that's it. Within 2 minutes, all the KYC, the email has been done seamlessly. Sitting at your home, you have your own bank account. We have been doing this thing from the last 26 months, and the results are amazing. We are right now standing at 12.2 million new accounts in Pakistan by using this technology. This has been recognized, and I'm really thankful to the World Economic Forum, who has not only helped us in getting this skill by sharing their knowledge, their support. At this point in time, this solution is being a part of center of fourth industrial revolution for reducing the gender gap. This has also been a recognition from the One Economic Forum for this solution and for Pakistan especially. Let me tell you one thing very, very special about it, and that is, out of this, like the 12.2 million accounts, 36% are women accounts, which has never been done in Pakistan. And believe me that, and the good part about it, that we have the stats available. And my stat says that even a lady who's sitting in FATA is actually using this service and performing for digital transactions in the month. And most of the time, they are using their bill payments and the fund transfers. So we have all the stats available, and we are sharing this stat with the State Bank of Pakistan and all the other regulatory authorities as well. This is one part. But as per the National Financial Inclusion Strategy 2024-2028, so this need to be scaled by 28 to 70 million accounts, because we have a gap of still. We have a financial
So I'm going to interrupt you here. When you say you need to scale it to 70 million
7
accounts,
million accounts,
7 million accounts,
70 million.
70 million accounts.
Now, this is the overall target of the State Bank. So we need to contribute. And we already have a 1 billion challenge.
So what is holding you back?
This-
What are the impediments? Because I'm going to then perhaps go to someone very important here who can help
I'm
us.
just going to cover that later in the speech. So because the factor is we need to enable the environment. We need to create the ecosystem, and that is the second part which I'm trying to address here. That in Pakistan, like we have done one part, that is the account is there, you can put up the money into the account and start digital transactions. But what about if a person is still not able to open a bank account, and he wants to do some sort of cash transactions, of cash in or cash out transactions, living in the remote area, no bank account, no bank available, lack of infrastructure, what you will do? But you will find one person over there, and that is the agent, an agent of a bank, of a branchless banking agent. Very unfortunate that Pakistan, after having the branchless banking from the last 10 or 12 years, progressing very fast, but they have a one-to-one solution. If I'm a customer of bank A, I can go to an agent of bank A only. There's agents of 3,75,000 agents available, but in that area, the agent is not available of that bank. Then what should I do? So there's no interoperability. So let me announce this thing that on 16 Jan 2025, before coming to WEF, we have been awarded and mandated by the State Bank to start the agent interoperability, and we're going to conduct our demo by the end of February. Let me tell you that 90 million transactions happens in a month on an agent network. and still we are a cashless, a cash-based society. Why? Just because of these sort of services which are not available. So if the person get this service available, they can go to an agent and open a bank account just putting their thumb in. So these all services are right now available. We are just progressing on these matters, and I'm really thankful to the to the regulators who are actually now perceiving this thing very very seriously. Now, what's the way for? I have a very good surprise for you guys, which I just go in at the later stage. So
So you have 5 minutes.
yeah, I do. So that's why I'm just covering too much too quickly. What are the way forwards? Just taking these two components and think about what is the way forward for Pakistan. You can use this platform for disaster relief services, for business income support program, one of the largest unconditional cash transfer poverty reduction program. Up till now, we have disbursed nearly around $1 billion to the women's deprived movements. And now we need to conduct, like those women are standing in the queues, going to the camps, going to the bank branches to receive the money. Why? They don't need to. They just need to enroll themselves by dialing this code, get a bank account, directly get the money into their account. And if need be, they'll go to an agent and get the cash out. Other than that, they have a digital account available by using a $10 phone, a feature phone without internet, without having a mobile app. But the second part is also very exciting. That we need to move on to a concept called war on cash, which the honorable minister is also focusing on. That we need to do a little steps which can impact big, and that is like you can directly make the bill payments automated through digital channels only. As we speak, as per the State Bank stats, 1 billion bill payments happens in a year in Pakistan, with the average ticket size of 4,500 PKR. Good, but still, this is only covers the 55% of the bill payments. 45% of the bill payments are still happening on cash. Why? If we can do this thing, we can just have a proper mandate. There's no regulations required to get this thing done. Then you can directly have a transparency in a complete digital environment available. And there's a lot need to be done. Lastly, I must say one very important factor that the Pakistan is an agriculture-based economy. But and as per the National Financial Inclusion Strategy 2024-28, they are very heavily focusing on agriculture side to do digital solutions for them, to make the agriculture more and the farmer, and especially the farmers, to get the farmers onboarded and get the more service to be provided to the financial side provided to them. So Agriculture Development Pakistan, this is the surprise for you guys, that the Agriculture Development Bank of Pakistan, which is known as the Zar Tarqiyati Bank. So we signed an agreement with them to provide digital financial services by using the same technology. And but this not only gives the financial services with respect to account opening or balancing or your fund transfer, this one, but a loan service because the farmer runs on loans. They take loans, and by using this technology, they can get the loan within 4 hours. Right. So this is the biggest thing. But the next thing is very exciting. Why farmer need a loan? Because the middleman who's there, who is actually giving them the loan on very high rates, and then take the by in contrast to the repayments, take their crops on a very low rates and sell into the market, so they don't be not getting the real things out of it, right? So as we speak, yesterday night we went live with ZTBL, and we have enabled 500,000 farmers on our platform for using the financial services. Sir, this is a gift for you, and this is something. And I know you're the pioneer because you have started Zarai, HBL Zarai in your tenure. That you have created a marketplace, which is a very unique concept. So again, a government entity where we are working with ZTBL, and I just want to show you because I am on short of time. I just want to show you a message for sir, for the honorable minister and for Kelly for you. So the video message, please.
Salman never took me on board for this, but please go ahead.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you, VRG, for providing us the opportunity to introduce ZTBL at World Economic Forum in Digital Pakistan segment. I'm Tahir Yaqub Bhatti, President and CEO of ZTBL. ZTBL is the oldest and the largest agriculture bank of Pakistan. Our history goes back to 1952, previously known as Agriculture Development Bank of Pakistan. In 2002, renamed as ZTBL and started business as a specialized agriculture bank and as a scheduled bank with Central Bank of Pakistan, which is State Bank of Pakistan. We have a network of over 500 branches, conveniently present in 482 cities and towns in every nook and corner of the country. We are dedicated to empowering the farming community by providing financial services, agriculture credit, and advisory solutions, mainly focusing on enhancing rural prosperity and sustainable growth. Our initiative to digitize agriculture financing and provide viable banking solution to farmers that includes mobile banking and digital payment systems. We are dealing with over 500,000 farmers as our customers, out of which about 60% do not use Android or smartphones. Hence, USSD solution is extremely crucial for them. The hallmark of our collaboration with VRG is to bring financial inclusion and synergy to rural community through innovative solutions like USSD, which shall prove game changer, especially for the small farmers. ZTBL emphasizes to empower subsistence level farmer who owns less than 12.5 acres of land with access to digital tools, crop advisory services, and credit facilities to enhance agricultural productivity and livelihoods. ZTBL partnership with VRG highlights our alignment with the vision of sustainable and tech-driven economy, contributing to Pakistan's broader goal for a digital Pakistan by offering agri-tech services, that is weather, crop information, livestock, agri inputs, etc. We intend to position ZTBL as a key player in a digital revolution, fostering economic inclusion and contributing to a digital empowered, globally competitive Pakistan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I think this is outstanding, and we feel very privileged to have Kelly with us today, who's the head of Digital Inclusion, World Economic Forum's Edison Alliance. What is your view of the initiatives that have just been identified, and how do you see them contributing to the whole concept of inclusion in Pakistan?
So first of all, a big thank you for having me here today. And we're very honored to have you as part of the Edison Alliance and have been great partners since the Alliance was launched. You know, I think this is incredibly important, and I'm happy to share a little bit more about the story and the vision, but I think this is so essential that we really need to meet people where they are. I think for those of you who have attended different sessions this week, you'll hear a lot about AI and different frontier technologies, and these are very exciting and very important, but at the same time, we also need to understand that we need people to be able to have access wherever they are with the tools that they have, with the financial means that they have. So finding innovative ways to be able to use USDT technologies, particularly ways in which we can partner with others. And with agriculture, it's a key sector for us to be able to empower them directly. When you have access to weather data, when you have access to market prices, that their ability to be able to be more economically competitive is infinital. So we're really excited about initiatives like these. And in fact, one of the additional ways in which we're going to be focusing on the next section of the Alliance is to add agriculture as an additional sector. So for us, this is music to our ears. So we are delighted, and a big congratulations to you.
Thank you. There's just one more question I had for you. And because I come from the education sector, and I wonder that all of this is music to our ears, and I know how important it is for women empowerment, inclusivity, upward social mobility, you name it. But Pakistan also sort of struggles with learning poverties.
Mm-hmm.
And learning poverty is in some ways linked to accessibility. So do you think we can take it there? Is there a possibility? Because I know there are initiatives in Rwanda and South Africa which have worked tremendously to address issues of learning poverty.
Yes, no, absolutely. And I think many of the intersectionalities that we see that cause the digital divide also then reinforce these different issues. So education has been a core pillar that's been focusing on by the World Economic Forum. And I think there's several ways in which we can think about this challenge. So one, it's, do you have access to a device. So oftentimes that you might have one device in the home, and that may not always go to the student or to the woman or to those perhaps who have those other structural disadvantages. Are there ways in which we can explore different community models? So not necessarily having a computer in every home or in every school, but different ways in which we can find to be able to share those resources. Because we know that it's critically important to be able to meet students where they are, and also to be able to have the right kinds of tools. And what we have right now coming out is really exciting in terms of being able to tailor different programs for students, be able as well for those who may not necessarily speak the dominant languages to be able to have things that are translated into their languages. And of course, we know that when you have access to education, that then you'll also have access to greater digital literacy, and all these become positive reinforcing cycles. So we need to think about it holistically as a way in which we are offering opportunities, we're offering education, and then this is really the path to continue that positive cycle of economic empowerment.
So when we try to address issues of digital divide in a developing country, where does all of this come into?
I think we need to take a systematic view. So it's not just focusing on digital, it's focusing on the economic, it's focusing on the gender imperative, it's focusing on the education imperative, it's focusing on the financial and digital literacy, because all these things need to be addressed. Because if you're just looking at any one challenge alone, then you'll not be able to solve the greater issue at heart. With the Edison Alliance, we've taken a matrixed approach in terms of how we're thinking about the digital divide. So the first piece is the access. So you need to have a cell phone tower, a subsea cable, or some way in which you'll be able to have that connectivity. And I know that Pakistan has made great strides over the last 15 years in covering nearly 85% of the population. One of the issues that still need to be addressed is access to fiber optic, which the penetration rates are quite low. Now, of course, with mobile telephony, that you can use different solutions like those that were just shared in terms of being able to have those basic options. But as we're thinking about how we're preparing both for what's coming today, but also if we want to be on the path for AI, we as well need to think about what are the kinds of connectivity speeds that we'll need in order to be able to unlock and enable those partnerships.
Thank you. Yeah, please go ahead. You wanted to say something?
Sure. And then maybe just quickly, the other two pillars. So the second one is affordability. So can you afford your device, and can you afford your data plan? That this is something that's critical of being able to then have continuous access. And then the third piece is the usability. So do you have the skills? Is there relevant content in your language? So how do we look at where we can tackle each one of these individually? But if we really want to close the divide, we need to think about this holistically within the broader context.
Great. Thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to invite Abu Bakr to become a part of the conversation. He's the Chief Executive Officer, Pakistan Software Export Board. I find that title very interesting, Software Export Board. What are we talking about here? What are we exporting?
So just a quick introduction. This is part of the Ministry of IT, and what our mandate is basically to increase the software exports. We have about 25,000 IT companies in Pakistan, people probably not realize. And all of these companies creates products or services. And then there's about, as per the Asian Development Bank report, we have about 2.3 million freelancers that do work and actively earn money through this. All of this comes through, so there's a foreign remittance that comes back to Pakistan, and that's what the software export is. So our mandate is very simple and very simple, single mandate. It's like, how do we enable the environment? How do we create the supply? How do we open the demands? And how do we make the business and ease of operations easy for anybody to increase and do more and more of what we've been doing?
You're doing reasonably well, I understand. We are number 3 in the world.
In the freelancing, we're the number 3 in the world. People may not realize we are better than India, and at least in some IT. But we are the number 3 freelancer economy in the world.
So when you say you want to enable them, what exactly are we doing on the ground?
So
because the reason why I ask you this question is there is this constant din of how the freelancers in Pakistan are not supported the way they should have been supported. The internet interruptions are mentioned as an issue, but despite that, we are number 3, and the pie is growing bigger.
Yes.
It's expanding.
So I think I'll start with sharing some of the numbers, so that will give some context to where we are. So last year, in our fiscal year that ends in 2024, official export numbers for Pakistan IT industry was $3.2 billion, right? And that was about 24% increase. This year, in the first 6 months, we've grown another 28%. So we're trending to be over $4 billion 4.2 to be exact. I think we have a much bigger ambitions going forward. How enabling freelancers, this is more of an organic approach. I think people may not realize Pakistan is probably one of the most friendliest regime when it comes to the exports in this. I mean, there's literally no tax for any export that you do for foreign. Any remittance that comes in doesn't get taxed, right? So I think people may just got caught up in the other side, but at least when you look at it and outside, and I talk to a lot of people, I've spent 30 years outside of Pakistan, so I've worked in many countries. And I can tell you, this is probably one of the things people look at it, is say Pakistan has the most favorable when it comes to the export taxes. So we're there. What are we doing to enable them? Obviously, we create the supply side of it. We trained last year through these different initiatives, and there are a lot more initiatives that goes around in the provincial sector as well as in the private sector. But just on the government scale, we trained 4.5 million people. So there were 3 million were targeted
That's
for.
actually very good.
Yeah, so that's the freelancer focus training, which is called Coding Skills and Digital Skills programs, that trained 3 million people. So that was 3 million people that were trained through those things. This is just the federated view of the training. Every province does it, every federation of PSAP does it, Ignite does it, NEFTAC does it. There's a lot of organizations that are doing training. I'm talking about just the government numbers here. And then there's a lot of private sector. If you go in Pakistan, you go look at Ceylanis and JDCs of the world and a lot of different security. There are millions others that are getting trained. This does not just happen. We happen to have 2.3 million people.
Well, this is a question that I had here, because I know these trainings are happening all over the country and they're very well received, especially in urban centers. And they're done by NGOs who do it as an initiative also to get some political traction, because these NGOs have political wings as well. But my question to you is that to really compete internationally, are these short trainings sufficient? Or do we need to be more focused on the kind of IT training we are providing to our youth?
Yeah, very, very good question. And I answer that in a different way. I think there is a need and demand for each one of them. We are in a very low value chain at this point where we do these services, whether it's freelancing. I know we are number 3 in the world, but that shouldn't be our goal. Our goal is to look at the higher in the value chain. So we also just do not just the freelancer training, we do the high-end trainings. We just announced, and will be announced very soon, that we are also moving into officially in the semiconductor side of the training. We have demands coming out from mostly in the Gulf region, where they need semiconductor designers from there. So we are actually entering into that. We are putting together the AI training plans and the Web3 training plans. So we are moving into the high-value food chain, but I don't think so we will ever not do the low-value food chain, because our problem, I always say from day one, and it's been only 90 days, but is we have a two-dimensional problem. We have a problem that we have to increase our exports, and brand Pakistan is not just a low-value food chain, but also that.
My question.
But we also have a problem where we have youth, which is millions of unemployed youth. That lower-end skills helps that. So we try to do both, and we're going to continue.
So we're
doing
probably looking at a multi-pronged strategy here.
There will be a multi-pronged strategy.
One more question, and before
Please.
I request the chief guest for his comments, yes. Okay, Kali, you have to leave.
Yes, I'm very sorry, I do have to leave.
Kali, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you so much.
We'll miss you in the Q&A session, though.
And just thank you again. Thank you all of you in the room. And it's been a real pleasure, and excited about what's to come next. And so really appreciate it.
We'll connect again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Right, Kelly, thank you so much. Pleasure talking to you. So one last question for Mr. Abu Bakr, and then I will request the chief guest for his comments. The balance between regulation and restriction. Because you see, in Pakistan, we tend to confuse regulation with restriction. So what is your take on that? You've spent so such a long time outside the country. I'm sure there are issues there as well. And that society is also grappling with it. But in a country like Pakistan, the political polarization has been discussed here. Where do you see this balance? And also privilege. So regulation, restriction, and how excess is a privilege.
Yeah, I think this is a topic of, I guess, it's the most heated topic of this one. I think I'll just say from our side, from at least, we want to make it as open as possible, as accessible as possible. There's obviously needs to be some guidelines to do this, because I think we are moving into a very different age. And this information age is open and accessible, but needs to have it. I think every country is grappling with it to say, how do we make this more regulated or more secured for their own areas? I think Pakistan is not more. Pakistan has its own set of challenges, and we are also grappling with it. I'm not going to tell you here that we have to solve this problem to say what it is, and I don't think so we should claim to be that we have solved this problem.
The audience to ask you more penetrating questions.
I absolutely, you can answer them.
And I request our chief guest, Senator Mohammad Aurangzeb, for his comments. He's the Federal Minister of Finance and Revenue also.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor, again for the invite. It's a pleasure to be back here. I mean, maybe I'll go into a little bit of Spanglish, if it's okay. We have seen centers of excellence in Pakistan. We just heard about Asan Mobile and how this has become a center of excellence. Similarly, in terms of the payment gateway, Rast is a fantastic way forward. इसी तरह अगर आप नादरा में देखें, all the lifestyle data available, connected with my CNIC, not too different from Aadhaar card discussion in our neighbor. इसी तरह जो BISP में the whole discussion went away from brick and mortar into how the digital discussion came in. And by the way, it's जो आपने ख़वातीन की बात की है, a lot of them have feature phones, and a lot of them actually are now onto digital wallets. So, you know, ये जो revolution आ रही है पाकिस्तान में and many other places, quite frankly, has nothing to do with education. You know, you have the feature phones and you have the feature phones, you tell them how to manage it and they will be on digital wallet. So I think it's a great way forward. And the last thing I just want to mention is whatever we are doing in terms of our tax authority, in terms of end-to-end digitalization of the process, because and I keep on saying digital is not an end in itself, it's a means to an end. It's about transparency, it's about client experience, and indeed, you know, it should lead to unlocking the digital economic value which is available for Pakistan. So this week we also had a good discussion with the DCO WEF. As you know, I mean, you know, we are greatly honored that Pakistan is the first country to implement the digital FDI initiative, और उसमें सब लोग उसमें जो है involved हैं, and it's a very comprehensive plan in terms of how we take things forward, because अगर हमने digital nation पाकिस्तान की बात करनी है, then we cannot go into verticals, because as I said, verticals have a lot of centers of excellence, but we have to go horizontal. It's only by going horizontal we are going to actually unlock the value from within. And for that, we need to have a very comprehensive end-to-end plan. और उसमें कोई स्टेट बैंक की बात ना करें, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस की बात ना करें, आपने जो करना है वो आप करें, कि जो उसने हमें ये टारगेट दे दिया, हमें ये टारगेट दे दिया, forget about these targets. Forget about these targets. आप ये देखें कि हमने कहाँ हमने इस मुल्क को लेकर जाना है, and the value addition that you already have provided, just go for it. Forget about the targets which the government is. I mean, yesterday I was here and I had the privilege of being here as well. You in the private sector, you have to lead the country. हमारा काम सिर्फ ये है कि आपको policy framework दें, policy continuity दें, which means कि within this context of the digital FDI initiative with DCO, etc. So उसमें digital infrastructure, digital adoption, additional digital services, and indeed export part of it. Now, the enabling factors is कि हमें जो special technology zones हैं उनको operationalize करना है, which is no different from special economic zones. वो लोग मुझे आगे कहते हैं कि जी वो जो IMF आ गया जी, स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन जो हैं वो बनने बंद हो गए, और जो आज हैं उसको ऑपरेशनलाइज करें. I mean, there are 93 special economic zones in operation in Bangladesh. Let's first operationalize what we have in Pakistan, and then we can go back and ask for more. Because, special economic zones, special technology zones are all about plug and play. That's what the government has to do in terms of providing the support and the infrastructure and, gas, electricity, everything else, because there's a huge opportunity for AI data centers coming to Pakistan. We have surplus energy. People are going off grid. Let's use that energy to set up AI data centers in Pakistan. Today, again, then it's any transformation is people, process, technology. So the focus that you have and everyone has is around reskilling and upskilling. Jis tarah bhi inhone kaha, we're very fortunate to have third largest freelance population in the world. I mean, it's a huge upside and enabling factor as we go forward. And then, of course, it's all about the capital which is being made available, whether it's on the startup side, Series A, whatever, etc., where people want to believe in you, Sada Pay, Nya Pay, all of that good stuff which is happening. But all of us, what we need to do is to, rather than working in our verticals, we need to bring it all together, because that's what's going to take Pakistan as a digital nation forward, whether it's e-governance, whether it's everything else associated with that. So my only view again would be that we have a huge opportunity. क्योंकि अभी इन्होंने कल भी हमारी बात हुई थी और दिसंबर में $384 million. That's what we touched in terms of IT services related sectors, highest ever in our, and it is only upside going from there. It's no different from the whole remittance discussion, because जब भी हम touch करते हैं एक certain level, हम कहते हैं कि हमने, we have reached nirvana. No, we haven't reached nirvana. So last year, our remittance flows were $30.2 billion. If this trajectory continues, inshallah, which we will, we will hit $35 billion this fiscal year. Now, just think about it, the kind of external space and the fiscal space that we are developing, और जो आपकी इकराम साहब, और ये जो हम यहाँ आ रहे हैं, जो आगे हमें इसको एक्सपोर्ट में लेके जाएगा, और जो एफिशिएंसी आएगी मुल्क में, I think we are not thinking through the economic value which is going to be unlocked through this. इसमें financial inclusion है, इसमें और चीजें. These are all use cases. As far as I'm concerned, when we talk about the verticals, these are all use cases. How do we bring all these use cases together? तो मैं आपको एक बता देता हूँ, एक मैं जिसको हम FBR में काम कर रहे हैं, right? So because we are not connected, and that's where the loopholes come in. Sorry, just the last point I'll make, and then because in the interest of time, तो कि आप सवाल ले सकें. देखिए, कभी भी डेटा की कमी नहीं. CNIC have all the data on me. How many vehicles I have, घर मेरे पास कितने हैं, कहाँ हैं, utility bills, my travel, all my lifestyle data is available with Nadra. There's no question about it. They have all my lifestyle data. Then we have the data available in the tax authority, right? Which means how much tax I'm paying. So what were we doing previously? What we were doing was taking this data and its raw form, sending it to field formations. What do the field formations do, right? Someone, might throw it in the bin. Someone might actually try to extract value for the exchequer, but mostly they would extract value out of me. कि ये तुम्हारा बनता है, इसमें मेरे साथ settle कर लो. So that is the power that we're trying to now build into that use case, कि आपके पास एक तो ये databases connected हो. On that basis, we get into data analytics, and that data analytics and the dashboard then actually drives that entire discussion, right? Because you do, drop down menus and all of that, so that I can, and the chairman FBR and other people can sit down on the table and say, what is the RTO doing, LTO doing, which region, what they're doing, which tax officer is doing, and an entire audit trail of what was sent at what point in time, etc. All 101, all 101. So we are all doing this in a very now, I think, good way with centers of excellence. हमारा जो सबसे बड़ा इकराम साहब जो चैलेंज है कि हमने इसको सबको इकट्ठा कैसे करना है, because that to me is what is going to lead 1 + 1 to 3 or 2 + 2 to 5. That's the only way we are going to unlock the economic value which is going to come, inshallah, from Digital Pakistan. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that very candid input. And I'll now request Mr. Ikram Sehgal for vote of thanks and the last word.
Thank you, Senator Aurangzeb. I think that was very nice and crisp. We got the message across. I'd just like to add a few things. You talked about Rast. Well, for 2 years, State Bank forgot about us, and then they discovered that how do you reach the people who have a feature phone? So now we're integrating with Rast. The second thing is the AMA app. For a year or so, they kept after us, and we kept on telling them, don't do it in Urdu. Do it in Roman Urdu. Like you said, everybody can get in the TikTok. She may not know how to use the thing, but she knows how to use a TikTok. So if she knows how to use a TikTok, she can use the AMA app for all purposes. So that is now in Roman Urdu, and it is being tested in banks now already. So it is a part of the thing parcel. See, so in the last one, the same thing that I told you about your war on cash, the thing you invented, is it takes a stroke of a pen. Make everybody pay their telephone bills through bank accounts. Bank accounts or AMA account, doesn't matter. Make them pay. Once you make them pay, you take away the cash. You take away the cash, you bring it all into one holy thing that is forensic, which is the data that you are talking about, the data that you want, the data you want to get together. So now, the ball is in your court.
One or two comments?
Please go ahead.
Okay, so I think it will be good for the audience to know. I think Aurangzeb Saab has just mentioned there is under the WEF, there is this DCO that has been formed 3 years ago. There is 16 member countries, and as he said, the first inaugural annual event. I just want to give you a little bit more detail. It's been announced 2 days ago. World Economic Forum actually announced it publicly. Is in Islamabad on 29th and 30th April. This is a big deal for the country because this will brand elevate us to a country that is hosting. And we are branding this as the Davos of Digital. Islamabad is the new Davos of Digital because the entire world will be watching that, because this is where the digital divide, this whole aspiration of DCO is to bridge the gap of a digital divide. And we are leading in the front for it. So that's one. Number two, I think people should know and know this because this is a digital. We are legislatively now have passed, or almost passed, I think we've gone through two houses, is the Digital Nation Act. So Pakistan now officially has a Digital Commission Authority and the Digital Nation Act, which will be mandated, and this will be the mandate to create the digital economy for Pakistan. This is the first time that has happened in Pakistan. There is a lot of hope.
I'm so glad that this session. Yes. आपके पास वक्त है जी.
Her Excellency Dima, I was with her yesterday and today. So she has confirmed she is going to travel to Islamabad for this formal launch. तो ये बड़ी अच्छी चीज़ है, लेकिन मैं सिर्फ एक चीज़ इसमें कहूँगा कि like everything else in Pakistan, plans and more plans and more plans. Ultimately, it's about execution and implementation.
Absolutely.
That is the rigor and vigor we need as we, inshallah, go forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Photograph with the family and
जी, जी, अच्छा.
family.